Lafayette got to this Super Regional by upsetting LSU in the Baton Rouge Regional last weekend, and Michigan swept through its own regional to its 16th all-time regional title. We welcome you inside our broadcast booth with three-time Big Ten Player of the Year Garland Cooper. I'm Joe Davis. You've got two of the top offenses in the country, but facing two pitchers that last weekend combined to throw 42 innings and gave up just one run.
Well, when you talk about offense, these two teams are two of the best. Michigan, 7 of their 9 starters are batting over 300. For Louisiana Lafayette, they rank in the top 10 nationally in scoring, but also slugging percentage and home runs per game. So they just have a ton of power. And two teams that are led by offense, but in their regionals, it was really their pitching that led them. For Louisiana Lafayette, Wallace did not give up a run last weekend. She was so strong, named the Baton Rouge MVP, and then Driesinga only gave up 1 run in the 21 innings that she pitched.
Now let's take a look at our Capital One starting lineup for Louisiana Lafayette now. They're 15th in the country, hitting .322 as a team, but hit just .157 in the regional last weekend. Arissa Myers leads the way, .410 average is best in the Sun Belt. It's 4 seniors, 3 freshmen, and then 2 slappers in this offense for the Ragin' Cajuns. They'll go up against the aforementioned Sarah Driesinga, who's pitching with a ton of confidence right now. 1 run over 21 innings last week. First time that she'd thrown 3 straight complete games this year.
And Driesinga is so strong for Michigan. Last weekend really carried their team. A 1.67 ERA on the year. And this is a pitcher that we have not seen really in the postseason until last weekend. She was on the Michigan squad, but not the star in previous years, and she really shined. What makes her so strong is she has an incredible drop ball that just falls off the table, really stumps hitters. But the key for her is to not leave anything too sweet over the plate. That's when she gets into trouble, when she starts getting balls up in the zone and leaving them over the plate. One thing she does really well is use her defense. She generates a lot of ground balls throwing that drop ball, so that'll be key for them today.
That's a defense, Garland, normally good at Michigan, but this season the .959 fielding percentage, the worst since 1992 for the Wolverines. Now that said, last weekend with Driesinga's pitching, the defense combined really to get him into this Super Regional.
They did an all-around, just an incredible effort by the entire Michigan team. This is a team that is just peaking at the right time.
There's Michael O'Teef in his 13th season with the program. Actually stepped down the night before the season opener, but then returned a couple and a half weeks later with his role with the head coach again. And then Carol Hutchins, Hall of Famer in her 29th season. The winningest coach in any sport in school history, and the 3rd winningest coach in the history of the sport, with nearly 1,300 career wins. Louisiana Lafayette enters having won 28 of its last 30 and trying to make its 6th trip to the Women's College World Series. And Michigan, a national power, looking for its 10th trip to the Women's College World Series in the last 18 years. Home plate umpires Brian Smith today. Sue Sawyer and Terry Holt, his partners. Arissa Myers to lead things off, the Sun Belt's top hitter at .410 this season. And the sophomore out of Hudsonville starts with ball 1.
Arissa Myers is really the spark plug for this offense. She had 4 runs on their weekend in their regional. They had 7 runs scored total, so she really does set the tone for the offense.
1 ball and 1 strike now. Myers, a senior out of Petal, Mississippi. First team All-Sun Belt performer that has come back from an ankle injury. 1-2. It's been a different team with her in the lineup. She missed 18 games when she broke an ankle walking across campus. They were 9-9 without her. 37-4 and averaging 2 runs more per game with her in the lineup. Michael O'Teef says the heart and soul of this team. A little bit outside. They check down to third. It's 2-2. Driesinga's 2-2. It's 3-2.
And we'll see Driesinga as well really working the inside corner, whether it's a left-handed hitter or a right-handed hitter. She likes to work the inside corner of the plate against these hitters.
Full count on the leadoff batter, Myers. 3-2. This is the second time Louisiana Lafayette has seen Driesinga this season. Back on February 22nd, Michigan beat Louisiana Lafayette 3-1 down in Clearwater, Florida. And Driesinga went the distance in that game, gave up just one unearned run on 4 hits. Another 3-2. Just foul, it stays full.
One of the keys for Driesinga in these games, because they are playing 2 games, potentially 3, and her drop ball is so much her strength, she's going to have to mix in some of her other pitches. She has a full arsenal of pitches. She can throw a rise ball. She's got a change up. She does need to work those in and give them a different look throughout the course of the game and throughout the course of this series.
Another payoff. And another foul ball. One of the top pitchers in the country lately facing off with one of the top hitters in the country. 9th pitch of the AB coming up here.
And Myers is doing such a great job in this at-bat. Just seeing a lot of pitches really gives her a leg up and able to go back into the dugout and tell her teammates what she's seeing from Driesinga.
And she coaxes a walk, exactly what you want out of your leadoff hitter to begin the game.
And that's what I love about Myers. 32 now walks on the year and only 8 strikeouts. So she does a great job of putting the ball in play, but also taking the base when it's given to her.
So a leadoff walk issued by Driesinga. And now Narissa Myers' first cousin, Brianna Cherry, also out of Petal, Mississippi, takes ball 1. 3rd in the Sun Belt in average, 5th in the Sun Belt in homers, 4th in the Sun Belt in RBIs, leads the Sun Belt in runs scored. The 12th overall pick in the National Pro Fast Pitch Softball Draft. 1-1. That throw sails into right field. And Michigan's defensive struggles show up in the first inning of game 1.
And these are the kind of mistakes you cannot make in the postseason. Sweet throws this ball down to first base. Blanchard, not even expecting it, wasn't even covering the base. The defense has to be woken up a little bit here. Caught sleeping. That's a mental error for Michigan.
So an RBI chance now for Cherry. It was 2 for 8 in that regional down in Baton Rouge last weekend. 2-1. So 1 inning and 1 error for Michigan. The worst fielding percentage for the Wolverines since 1992. Now a lot of that is players playing out of position from where they've normally been. That error right there on Lauren Sweet, it's on an experienced catcher. 2-1. Lifted deep to right center. Sappingfield is back and makes the catch with Doyle converging. Myers will advance to 3rd. 1 gone in the first inning.
And this is where you really see things like walking off a leadoff hitter and errors coming to affect these teams. You talk about Michigan. Driesinga is so strong in the circle, but she cannot walk the leadoff hitter in the first inning of the game. That's a big mistake on her part. And then we see a defensive error right behind. This team has to be stronger than that in the postseason.
Facing a lineup that'll make them pay with those mistakes. Here's Sarah Draheim. Takes strike 1. We saw Cherry up the bat. She's all over the Sun Belt leaderboard, as is Draheim, 2nd in the conference in average, tied for the conference lead in homers. And led the conference in RBIs with 65 this year. 0-1.
And Draheim is so strong in the postseason. She's batting .444 just in the postseason with 13 RBIs. So she's the hitter they want up to bat right now.
Senior out of Flower Mound, Texas. 1-1 pitch. 2-1.
And Driesinga, being a drop ball pitcher, she wants to get the call right at the knees. So part of the first couple innings is determining what the umpire's strike zone is. What calls is she going to get? How low can she go and how far on the corners and have it still be called a strike?
3-1 now on Draheim. He's a .493 hitter with runners in scoring position this year.
Driesinga knows she has to be careful against these Louisiana Lafayette bats, but right now she's being too careful. She has to get ahead in the count.
On the corner, 3-2.
And this is that pitch right at the knees, the call that Driesinga wants all day long on that inside corner. That's a tough pitch to hit.
Runner at third, one away in the first, 3-2. Second walk of this first inning. And they're at the corners now with one gone for the cleanup batter, Maddie Hack. And here comes Carol Hutchins out of that Michigan dugout. 29th season as head coach of this program. Driesinga, a couple of first inning walks. And the issue with her usually is that she leaves the ball over the plate too much, but she's just been missing early.
It's absolutely, and she can't find the strike zone. That's her biggest issue right now. They brought in Haylie Wagner's in the bullpen warming up. Obviously, Coach Hutchins very concerned about her star pitcher in the circle today and the way she started off this game.
You saw Haylie Wagner getting loose down in the Michigan bullpen. Driesinga pitched all 21 innings last weekend as Michigan swept through that regional, knocking off a ranked Cal team. 5-0 over Valpo on Friday, 5-0 over Cal in game 2, and then 3-1 over Cal to finish off that region. First one to Maddie Hack, strike one. 322 hitter on the year. That's the lowest her average has been now about a month and a half. It was 0 for 10 in the regional last weekend. 0-1.
Hack is also a hitter for the Cajuns that has been clutch this season. A lot of clutch hits, driving in runs. She has 57 RBIs on the season.
Third in the Sun Belt. 1-1. It's 2-1. The Sun Belt's top 4 run producers are in the top 5 in this UL Lafayette lineup.
That's what they do so well, and part of it is that they have so much power, so many hitters that can change the game with one swing and launch a pitch over a fence.
2-1 to Hack. High strike, 2-2. Lifted down the line to left. Lawrence into foul territory to make the play. Myers tags in, comes home. A bullet to the plate in time, and the inning is over. It was the defense that opened the door for Louisiana Lafayette, but then the defense slams it back shut, and Michigan holds the Raging Cajuns off of the board in the first inning. You hear all about Sierra Romero, the shortstop freshman, but how about the throw from the left fielder freshman Sierra Lawrence? Michigan coming to bat for the first time here in Ann Arbor, bottom of the first inning in game 1 of this Super Regional. The final out of the top of this inning was on a gorgeous throw from Sierra Lawrence, but the question is, was it the right call?
And Myers comes in head first into the plate. It looks like she gets her hand under the tag and onto the plate before Sweet can make the tag. You see, Sweet is actually set up a little bit behind the plate instead of in front of the plate in that situation.
All right, let's take a look at the Michigan batting lineup now, brought to you by Capital One. Michigan 6th in the nation, hitting .335 as a team, and trailing only Oklahoma in runs per game. Sierra Romero batting out of that 3 spot as a freshman. It was not just Big Ten Freshman of the Year, but Big Ten Player of the Year. And Blanchard and Lane behind her have been so important, providing that protection in the lineup. That lineup will face off with Jordan Wallace, a sophomore out of Weatherford, Texas, who's 6th in the nation in wins, 4th in the nation in strikeouts, and MVP of the Baton Rouge Regional.
And Wallace has been so strong for this Louisiana Lafayette team. The key for her is her rise ball. She's got an incredible rise ball, just jumps in that strike zone. But she also can throw a curveball, a drop ball, a cutter, and a screwball. So she has a lot of pitches in her arsenal, but that rise ball is really what carries her in her pitching.
She goes to work against Lindsay Doyle, hottest Michigan hitter right now, hitting .600 over a 5-game hit streak. Junior from Illinois had 6 hits last weekend. Carol Hutchins said if she can get that kind of production out of her leadoff hitter each weekend, she's feeling pretty good about their chances with what they've got through the rest of this order. A 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes.
And what makes Doyle so good is that she has some speed, so she can lay down a bunt, she can soft slap, hit a ball softly into the infield, but she also has a little pop in her bat, so she can hit the grass.
Strike 1.
Makes her tough to defend for these defenders. They cannot move up too far because she can knock a ball past them, and she's so good with placement. She has incredible bat control and can place the ball where she wants it in the field.
2-1 from Wallace. 2-2.
And Wallace with her rise ball can be so hard to hit a rise ball pitcher that can throw a rise ball for a strike. It's not just a waste pitch for her. So the key for the Michigan offense is to determine which are strikes and which are coming out of the zone, which is hard to see when you're up in the batter's box.
3-2, and this lineup saw Wallace back in February and beat her, but she gave up just 2 hits. Was hurt by a couple of errors, the defense behind her. Carol Hutchins said she thought stood out on tape from watching her differently was that she'd been more effective with that rise ball lately. 3-2. Too short for Myers. And she's safe at first. That's Sue Sawyer with a call. The speed of Doyle sets the table for the Wolverines.
And that's what makes Doyle so effective. She hit that ball in the 5-6 hole. Myers did a great job of handling it, but she got too far in the hole, and Doyle able to use her speed to get on base safely. It's a close play.
A couple of bang-bang plays in the first inning of this game. Each team places the leadoff batter on. With Michigan cutting down that runner at the plate in the first inning, that marks the first time in this NCAA tournament that Michael O'Teefe's team hadn't scored in the first. Now Carol Hutchins' team will try and jump in front.
What a big play for the Michigan team. This game is such a game of momentum, and it's really the team that has the momentum that ends up being successful. And right now, after that play and their leadoff hitter on base, the momentum is in favor of the Wolverines.
Nicole Sappingfield lays a bunt down. Wallace will go to first, and a successful sacrifice moves Doyle into scoring position.
And that's just textbook softball from Sappingfield, laying down a sacrifice bunt, sacrificing herself and the out to move Doyle into scoring position for the middle of their lineup.
For the Big Ten Player of the Year, Sierra Romero hitting .380 with 22 home runs, a Michigan single season record, and a Big Ten best 68 knocked in. First one from Wallace. She attacked it and fouled it off.
And if you want an idea of just how good Sierra Romero is. Coach Hutchins told us that she thinks she could play for the Detroit Tigers right now.
Yeah, we kind of looked at her and laughed, and she said, "I'm serious." Oh, 1. Runner takes off, and the ball gets by Draheim. Into third goes Doyle with one away.
That's a big mistake by Draheim behind the plate. Just didn't get down on her knees to block that pitch in the dirt fast enough. And now a deep fly ball from Romero, which she's capable of doing in this situation, would score a run.
There's a 1-1. It's popped up, not deep. And wind pushes it some, and it falls in with a miscommunication. Romero hustles into second, and Michigan leads 1-0.
And this is a defensive play that this team has to make. No communication in the outfield. That is Cherry's ball in the outfield 100%. Center fielder always takes control. She has to be calling that ball from the very beginning of that play and making the out.
Charged or ruled a double for Romero. Michigan on the board in the first inning. Both these teams have been so good in the opening frame this season. Louisiana Lafayette looked like it was mounting something in the top of this first, but the Michigan defense slammed the door with an outfield assist at home plate.
For a pitcher like Wallace, who throws a rise ball and really relies on her defense to make those catches, we're going to see a lot of pop-ups coming from the Michigan bats. Those are just plays that have to be made, especially in the postseason when every pitch counts and every game is on the line.
And you're facing a team that hasn't lost here this year. Michigan 19-0 at Alumni Field. It's going to be tough to break that if plays like that happen.
It will, and it's the routine plays that have to be made.
So with one gone, Romero's at second, and Caitlyn Blanchard, the cleanup hitter, stands in. .390 hitter on the season, 4 home runs, 45 knocked in. And the junior out of Petersburg, Michigan. There's all the talk about Romero, and rightfully so, but Caitlyn Blanchard, who moved into the cleanup spot in late March, has been key to Romero's success, providing that protection in the lineup. Shot to left, down for a base hit. Landry plays it off with a bouncer, throws late. Into second goes Blanchard and an RBI single, and it's 2-0 Wolverines.
And Blanchard takes a pitch on the outside part of the plate, goes opposite field with it, doesn't try to do anything fancy. Just hits the ball where it's pitched, and Romero, with some speed, makes it safely home on that double by Blanchard. Just a great play all around. Blanchard's hitting, and then Romero being able to make it safely home.
Ashley Lane fouls one off. Michigan early very aggressive against Wallace.
Well, that's part of what makes Wallace so successful, is getting ahead early so that she can throw her rise ball out of the zone and try to get him chasing. But what Michigan's doing is they're attacking those strikes early in the at-bat.
So Wallace, who had thrown 24 consecutive shutout innings, has given up 2 in this first and still just 1 gone. 0-2. Got away from it. Blanchard will take third.
And the ball just gets away from Wallace. Releases it too late. Draheim can't handle it behind the plate. And again, it's these kind of mistakes that are really going to come back to haunt this Louisiana Lafayette team.
A runner at third with one out, a lot different than a runner at second with one out. 1-2. And a big strikeout for Jordan Wallace. Laying down on strikes, 2 gone in this first inning. Here's Lauren Sweet. It pops one off with the hand of the third for Fernandez. And his first inning comes to a close. But Romero and Blanchard with RBI hits. And Michigan has a 2-0 lead through 1 inning in Ann Arbor. Coach Lateef talking with Brianna Cherry, who had that miscommunication in the outfield in the first.
And just a routine pop fly dropped in between Cherry and Molly and the outfield, and that just cannot happen in a game in the postseason. And Cherry, as a center fielder, she's really the quarterback out there. She's got to make those calls and be talking in the outfield from the start.
5, 6, and 7 for the Raging Cajuns in this inning. Shelly Landry takes ball 1. Now the conditions not ideal. Temperature in the low 50s. The wind somewhat stiff at times. How much of a role do you think that played in that fly ball?
The wind can maybe affect a fly ball, but in that situation, I mean, that is a routine play. Even with the wind, these are seasoned outfielders that have to be making plays like that.
Temperature in the high 80s. We're here down in Lafayette, Louisiana today. And Michael Lateef, head coach for the Raging Cajuns, hates the cold. He was asking how many heaters he could get into his dugout. There's a strike 1 and 2. And he's bundled up. He's got a couple coats on, long sleeve shirt.
He told us he brought winter boots.
Yeah. It's not like it's snowing. It's mid-50s. 50, okay. It's pretty cold. 1-2. Landry checked her swing. 2-2. The freshman out of Broussard, Louisiana, who is second team all Sun Belt. He had 4 seniors in that first inning come to the plate. Now 3 freshmen due up. Landry tied for the conference lead with 15 homers. Full count.
Something interesting that you see with this Louisiana Lafayette team is this split grip. Really what it is it's actually something they do in practice to work on barrel control and bat speed. And a lot of times hitters will practice, your hands work independently while you're hitting. And this is a drill a lot of hitters will do, but some of the Louisiana Lafayette players actually bring it into the game and focus on being quick to contact and controlling their barrel.
Landry lifts this one to right. Nicole Sappingfield for the first out of the inning. Now you've tried it like that, right? You've tried it with Coach Lateef and couldn't do it.
He tried to teach me, but I just I was not a very good student. And he actually told me today, I said, hey, remember when you tried to teach me that split grip? And he was like, yeah, you're really bad at it. And I was.
3-time All-American, 3-time Big Ten Player of the Year, but you can't pull off the split grip.
Well, it's a drill a lot of hitters will do. I've done the drill many times, but as far as hitting off of live pitching, I found it difficult, but it's something they're very successful with, and it's about being powerful to contact and allowing your hands to work independently from each other.
Here's Sarah Corbello, a freshman whose average is under 300 for the first time since the first weekend of the season. That one bounces off with the glove of Knapp to Romero. That goes 5-6-3. It's your typical 5-6-3 put out.
And for a team that has defense that is struggling, what a great way for Romero to pick up Knapp, who lets that ball just bounce off of her glove. And Romero does such a good job of having a quick release and getting the ball over to Blanchard quickly to get the out.
Samantha Walsh takes strike one. 7-hitter for the Raging Cajuns. Her .253 average. Light Corbello is the lowest that it's been since the first week. 0-1. Now, part of these averages dropping for Louisiana Lafayette is having to face Rachel Fico over back-to-back games in the regional. They hit just 157 last weekend, going against one of the best pitchers in the country. Driesinga's 1-1. Bounce to second for Lane. A 1-2-3 second inning for the Wolverines with a 2-0 lead midway through the second here at Alumni Field with their 19-0 this season. The pair of first inning runs for the Wolverines, 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. I want to remind you that ESPNW is collecting the best social photos on the road to the Women's College World Series. You can tweet your photos to hashtag WCWS and then log on to ESPNW.com/softball to take a look. Here is yesterday after practice, the Louisiana Lafayette team checking out the big house. How about this? There are 114,000 seats in the big house. There are 114,000 people in the city of Lafayette.
Wow, so that everyone in their city could sit
fit in there.
In the stadium and watch a game. Yeah. Wow.
Got to give credit to our producer, Joe McCoy, on that find. And then he saw Michigan visiting with former Michigan baseball star Jim Abbott. Had the Wolverines to a couple of Big Ten championships in the late 80s. Bottom third of this Michigan order coming up against Jordan Wallace. Her counterpart, Sarah Driesinga, to bat first. Driesinga hitting just .262. Her average way down from her freshman year, but first team All Big Ten once again because of what she's done in the circle. 1-0. 1-1. Two. Did she check? No. Strike three. Second strikeout for Jordan Wallace and one gone in the second inning.
And that is a close call. Driesinga. She wanted that pitch. Just held up. Got called out.
Now Sierra Lawrence had that outfield assist to finish the first inning. You hear so much about Sierra Romero, kind of steals the show as a freshman. But if Romero wasn't here, then Lawrence probably was going to win Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten. 340 hitter on the season.
That's the impressive thing about this Wolverine lineup overall is they're relatively young and have had so much success from their underclassmen, making an impact right away.
2-0. A bit down, 3 balls and no strikes. One of 7 freshmen on this roster. One of several that contributes. First team All Big Ten performer. He's out with a 1-out walk.
You talk about this Michigan lineup. Lawrence, a first team All Big Ten performer, and she's at the very bottom of their lineup. She's their 8-hole hitter. Just a testament to how strong this Wolverine offense really is.
Then you get down to the 9th spot. You've got Amy Knapp, who's hitting .320. Team captain. Lawrence takes off, and the ball gets by Draheim. So into scoring position goes Lawrence with one gone. And it's a wild pitch, second one charged to Wallace.
Wallace, this pitch just gets away from her, but Draheim, she's got to come up with that ball, at least block it and keep it in front of her. It went between her legs, and those are plays that she has to be making behind the plate. We've seen her struggle a little bit back there today.
6 consecutive balls thrown by Wallace now, and here comes Michael O'Teague to talk to her. He was so impressed with the way she handled the atmosphere down in Baton Rouge last weekend. The crowd was all over in back-to-back games. Really trying to get in her head, but couldn't rattle her. LSU put a couple of runners on in a 2-run game in the 7th inning. She was able to get out of the jam. She's got good stuff, but Mike Lotief will tell you it's more than just what she throws up there.
She's been very mentally strong for them in the circle, which is so key for a pitcher in the postseason, especially for a team like Louisiana Lafayette, who was away in Baton Rouge and then here in Ann Arbor in this atmosphere. Also not an easy place to be and a place to play.
Now, how about this atmosphere on a day where it's not exactly nice out, about 50 degrees, Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people traveling, and they've still almost packed this place, which seats 2,800 when you count the bleacher seating.
A lot of the reason why Michigan has been so strong at home this year is having their support from their fan base.
Here's a 2-0 to Knapp. 2-1. You loved playing here, right? When you played at Northwestern. It was tough because you didn't win often here, but a great atmosphere to be in as a player.
We won some. I mean, we won some.
Okay. You didn't get swept. 2-1. Ball 3.
The other side of that coin is this Louisiana Lafayette team has the opportunity to play in at these schools with these big atmospheres, and it can be so much fun to beat a team in their own stadium with their own fans and playing in situations like this.
So back-to-back one-out walks to 8 and 9 in the order. And Jordan Wallace getting herself into a tough spot with the top of the order now coming up.
And Wallace just having a tough time finding the zone. It looks like she's aiming the ball a little bit when she pitches, and she just needs to throw it and trust herself. Key for her is also getting ahead early in the count. Her strength is her rise ball. A lot of times that'll jump out of the zone.
Lindsey Doyle offered strike 1.
And that rise ball is the pitch that she wants to get him chasing. So she's got to get ahead early with her other stuff so she can throw that rise ball.
Doyle with an infield single in that first inning. She's now 7 for 10 in the postseason. Down to the count 0-2. Player that started every game since early in her freshman season. 163rd career start this afternoon. 0-2 on the corner for strike 3. Third punch out of the game for Jordan Wallace, and 2 gone in the second inning.
And Doyle just gets caught guessing with this pitch, surprised that Wallace stays down in the zone. And Wallace, what a great pitch on the outer part of the plate for the strikeout.
Now Nicole Sappingfield out of the 2 spot. And a sacrifice bunt her first time. A junior, but a team captain. Out of California. She started all but a handful of games in her career. 2 balls and no strikes.
So far, this Michigan offense has done a good job, for the most part, of laying off of that rise ball and recognizing it. So Wallace really will have to adjust and throw some of her other stuff throughout the course of this game to keep them off balance.
Well, that was one thing Mike Lotief talked about yesterday. Last season in the Super Regional at Arizona State with Ashley Brignac, who was an All-American pitcher for the Raging Cajuns for several years. Game 1, she fired a 2-hit shutout. But in game 2, she got rocked for 9 runs on 10 hits. And he vowed to never have a pitcher go into this stage of the season in the Super Regional when you're facing world-class hitters each time you get to this spot. To never have a pitcher go into one of those with a short repertoire.
Well, you gotta think they're scouting these pitchers leading up to these games, and then these teams are going to face off twice this weekend at least. So she is going to have to find a way to reinvent herself and give them a little bit of a different look. These hitters, they play 2 games. They're going to face her 6 times potentially.
Runners will take off with a 3-2. We'll do it again. Sophomore out of Weatherford, Texas. Already making her 68th career start. Her Sun Belt Freshman of the Year last year. 27-2 as their number 2 pitcher behind Brignac. He's been in the circle most of the year in 2013. Another 3-2. On the ground to third. Fernandez drawn in with a nice play. And the side is retired. Couple of walks, but no runs for the Wolverines. And on to the third in Ann Arbor. 2-0, Michigan in front. Arbor on a breezy, chilly day. 2-0, Michigan in front with a pair of first inning runs. A 3-time All-American Garland Cooper, Joe Davis on hand as we move to the third. Into the bottom of this Louisiana Lafayette order. The 8-hitter Leandra Molly with her first at-bat of the day.
In the bottom of this lineup, we see a couple of slappers, and they have their power starting in the top of the lineup. And it's for reasons like this, to have some speed at the bottom of the lineup to really be able to turn the lineup over and put some runners on base for their power hitters at the top of the lineup.
Molly, a sophomore JUCO transfer in her first season at Louisiana Lafayette. Went to Blinn Junior College for a year, hit .457 there. Checks in at .272 in her first season of Division I ball.
We're going to see Molly with a lot of speed. She really just has to make contact and run it out. She can be very successful, but she does have a little bit of pop. She can power slap and soft slap and then lay down a bunt. So the defense has to play her pretty straight here. Can't move in too far, otherwise she'll knock something by them, but do have to protect the bunt.
Do you recall how this surface plays at Michigan?
It's actually a pretty hard surface, so she can knock something hard into the ground and get a high bounce, which would allow her to make it safely as well.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Go issued those pair of first inning walks. Got some help from her defense in that first inning to keep the Raging Cajuns off of the board. Cruised through a 1-2-3 second. Going to work in the third. Floated over the shortstop to Lawrence, who makes a sliding play. Sierra Lawrence, who had that outfield assist in the first inning, makes the catch for the first out of the third.
And Molly does a great job of getting this pitch, and potentially would have hit a hole if Sierra Lawrence hadn't been playing so far in. But luckily she's there to make the catch for the Wolverines.
Here's another slap hitter now out of the 9th spot, Natalie Fernandez. Who's got 1 extra base hit. 173 career games. 1-0. And somehow found the handle of the bat. That's a strike. 1-1.
she goes to actually lay down a bunt and pulls the bat back. The ball just hit the bottom of the bat.
1-2. Fernandez hitting .357, which is solid, but it's down about 80 points from last year when she finished 12th in the country, hitting .436. 1-2. The .436 average for her last year wasn't even the best average on her own team. Katie Smith, 7th in the country for the Raging Cajuns. They brought back 6 starters, but they lost 3 All-American caliber players. There's the first strikeout of the game for Driesinga. Fernandez the second out of this inning, and it's back to the top of the order for Myers. Myers, one of those seniors that's been able to keep up with his program's built. Mentioned those 3 players graduating last year that had been so important. Last fall, when a lot of people figured that he'd be moving into a rebuilding year, this class committed to not letting that happen. Here they are in a Super Regional, back-to-back seasons for the first time. One. Myers walked her first time, was gunned down at the plate by Lawrence to finish that first inning. Replay would show that she was actually safe, but call went against the Raging Cajuns. They trail 2-0 here in the top of the third. Two-1 from Driesinga. Ball 3.
Myers is batting over 400, and that's so impressive considering she's a left-handed hitter, but she's not a slapper. It's not like she just can make contact and make it safely to first base. She has some speed, but she's done it mostly hitting for average, which is harder to do.
Rips a base hit into right field. First hit of the game for the Raging Cajuns, and it keeps this third inning alive.
This is what Myers does so well. She hits to all fields, and that ball on the inside part of the plate and low just sends it right back out where it's pitched, hits it hard on the ground, and finds that 3-4 hole.
So 2 gone for the 2-hitter Cherry, who flied to right her first time. Finishing her career with her best season. 352 last year, average up to 390 this year, coming into this Super Regional. She's drafted 12th overall by Akron. NPF draft. There'll be 16 NPF games on the ESPN networks over the course of the summer, started in a couple weeks. 1-2. And a good hitter in these situations this year. Myers at first with 2 gone. 1-2. Off speed hung up there, 2-2.
Cherry is one of those hitters that can hit for average and power. She's got 13 home runs on the year, can change the game with a swing. One of those home runs, a clutch home run in their first game against LSU last weekend. She's also got some speed. She can run as well, but Coach Lateef told us that she'll hit some of the hardest balls you'll ever see. She's got a short, quick swing, very powerful.
She was great in the Super Regional last year at Arizona State. Full count now. Myers will take off for second. And it turns into a true RBI opportunity for the senior.
And it might not seem like a big mistake to have that ball just bounce away from sweep behind the plate, but it could be, especially with these strong Louisiana Lafayette bats. Again, these are some of the routine plays, the mistakes that teams in the postseason just cannot make. It's the team that makes the least mistakes and gets that timely hit that comes out on top. So these teams have to really button it up and focus in defensively.
Another 3-2. Bounced off with the mid of the pitcher, but to Romero, it's short to retire the side. Second time today she's taken a ball deflected by one of the other Wolverines and gunned a player out at first. It goes 1-6-3. 2-0 Wolverines. Michigan with a pair of first-inning runs, trying to make its 10th trip to the Women's College World Series in the last 18 years. 2-0 on to the bottom of the third. Took advantage of some sloppy Raging Cajuns defense in that first frame, as if Sierra Romero needs any help. Popped one into right center that Cherry and Molly miscommunicated on. It allowed Doyle to score. Then Blanchard followed with a single down the line to score Romero. And a 2-0 Michigan lead after an inning that holds up here to the bottom of the third with 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Romero leading things off. Leading the Big Ten in home runs and in RBIs. Top 10 in the country in both those categories. Freshman out of Escondido, California, to lead off this frame against Jordan Wallace.
We talk a lot about Sierra Romero and how successful she has been. A lot of pitchers will throw around her and walk her, but it's really a pick your poison kind of lineup with the Michigan Wolverines. And what allows Romero to ever see any good pitches is the fact that Blanchard and Lane are hitting so well behind her. So you're going to walk Romero just to get to Lane and Blanchard, who are also batting over 300 on the season.
The numbers down just a little bit lately. It's nitpicking, but teams have started to pitch her differently. That one got a piece of her as it bounced by. So Jordan Wallace, who struggled with control some today, hits the leadoff batter in this third.
This pitch clearly in the batter's box, almost goes behind her. Just slips out of Wallace's hand in the circle. She has struggled with control and getting ahead early in the counts, and it's really affected her pitching.
Caitlyn Blanchard now had an RBI single in that in the first inning. Good stop by Draheim. You wonder if with the temperature a little bit colder than they're used to, if she's having a hard time gripping the ball.
It may, it may affect them, but in these post-game situations on this big stage, I have to believe this team is seasoned enough to be in that situation and to not let something like the weather affect them too much.
Here's a 1-0. It's bunted foul. Excellent effort by Fernandez. 1 ball, 1 strike. Louisiana Lafayette, maybe not a program a ton of people have heard about, but they've won 40 games, 15 straight seasons. They made 5 trips to the Women's College World Series. Now, outside of non-power conference programs, only Fresno State and Cal State Fullerton have made more trips than the Raging Cajuns have. Here's a 1-1. She jabbed at it, 1-2. I mentioned Fresno State and Cal State Fullerton. Either one of those schools have gone to the Women's College World Series this century. Louisiana Lafayette most recently back in 2008. The Sun Belt very good this year. You had South Alabama as Blanchard chases a high pitch for strike 3, but South Alabama was a 7th inning collapse away from advancing to a Super Regional as well.
Really shows a lot of the parity in softball, a lot of Pac-12 talk, SEC talk when you talk about the World Series and power conferences, but we are seeing some parity around the country in the postseason.
One gone for the 5-hitter Lane. Hitting .381 this year. Went 0 for 3 in the final game of the regional, snapping a 24-game on base streak. We're the first team all Big Ten performer that's put up the best numbers of her career in this her final season. 0-1 on the corner for strike 2. Strike 3. Back-to-back Ks and 5 in this game for the sophomore.
And this is how Wallace is so successful. We see her now throwing strikes early in the count, and then she throws that rise ball for the 3rd strike to get him swinging. So the Michigan hitters have to make the adjustment and be able to recognize that rise ball when it's rising out of the strike zone.
Lauren Sweet takes a high strike, and Brian Smith's been consistent so far, given that pitch right at the letters. Sweet popped out her first time, 2 for 9 now with a pair of home runs in the postseason. One pitch. Runner takes off, throw down to second, not in time, and Romero's got a stolen base.
And Draheim just not expecting the steal. You see her hesitate behind home plate on that pitch, holding the pitch, framing it on the corner of the plate, doesn't even see Romero take off until it's too late.
They've called a delay on Wallace, so they had a ball to the count, making it 3-1. And a good hitter in Lauren Sweet. Mike Loteef not happy about that call.
And this is something that, this is a rare call for an umpire to make. Wallace in the circle taking too long to throw her pitch. She has to throw it within 5 seconds of standing on the rubber.
It didn't seem out of the ordinary. It didn't seem too long.
It didn't, and it just goes to show, you know, pace of game is something that the umpires take very seriously. So, you know, Wallace has to start moving a little bit quicker in the circle, but an unusual call that can potentially throw her off her game a little bit today.
So 2-out walk to Sweet. Keeps the inning alive for Sarah Driesinga, who can help her cause here with 2 gone. Strike one. Strike two. Wallace trying to pitch out of this third inning jam and keep it 2-0. Romero at second. Sweet at first. On the corner for strike three. As she winds up striking out the side and stranding runners at first and second. Hall of Fame coach Carol Hutchins will join us on the other side of this break. It's 2-0 Wolverines. 2-0 Michigan in front as we move to the fourth inning here in game one of this Super Regional. And we're joined now by Carol Hutchins, head coach for Michigan. Coach, you've been here 29 years and really turned this program into what it is. When you see on a cold day like this more than 2,000 people show up, what's that mean to you?
Well, I just think it.
We're having some technical difficulties hearing coach. As we get started with this fourth inning. Sarah Driesinger back to the mound, back to the circle. We'll try to get those figured out. Time to talk with Coach Lotief in the bottom of this inning. Sarah Driesinger, after a rocky first inning where she walked a pair, has been sharp.
She has, and Driesinger's strength is that drop ball, and she's really done a great job of finding the strike zone, throwing it low, and not missing anything high in the zone, which could be very detrimental against these hot bats.
It's the three-hitter Sarah Draheim taking strike one. Walked her first time. Senior out of Flower Mound, Texas, that came into the year as a .267 career hitter, hitting above .400 in her final season. Her 15 home runs, tied for the most in the Sun Belt. She had 15 total over her first 3 years, but has spent a ton of time working on her swing. One of those hitters that'll stay after practice as long as it takes to iron out any kinks. 1-2. And just something about players in their senior season, too. You just tend to see them turn it up.
Well, especially in the postseason when every game matters so much. You see the seniors really leaving it on the field, and everyone really leaving it on the field, but especially those seniors. They do not want their seasons to end.
The top four in this order, all seniors for Louisiana Lafayette. Trying to get something going against Driesinger. Two-two to Draheim. Hit in the air to center. And it'll drop in front of Doyle for a base hit. Leadoff single for Sarah Draheim here in the fourth inning.
Batter playing first base, number 27.
And this is one of the perks of being a power hitter. The outfield was playing so far back, protecting anything to the warning track, that Draheim was able to poke that one into shallow center field.
Now Maddie Hack rips at the first pitch for strike one. One of those four seniors at the top of this lineup. She's actually been a part of 4 Super Regionals. Spent her first 2 years at Arizona. She's mainly a pinch runner there. Transferred to Louisiana Lafayette and has been first team all Sun Belt both years. 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Driesinger home 1-1. Strike 2. 1-2 pitch to Maddie Hack. On the corner for strike 3.
What a big out for Sarah Driesinga. And this Cajun offense not even thinking about sacrifice bunting with a runner on first base and no outs. And that pitch right on the outer part of the plate. A great pitch. And Coach Latif with so much confidence in the power that his lineup provides, doesn't even think about the sacrifice bunt to move the runner into scoring position. But in this case, that might actually be detrimental for their offense.
So you would take the bat out of your cleanup hitter's hands, down 2 runs when one swing could tie the game?
I mean, I'm a hitter, so I mean, maybe I wouldn't, but an interesting call from Coach Latif in that situation, especially with a lot of game left to play.
Here's a 1-1. 1-2.
And against a pitcher where their hitters and their power hitters have not had too much success so far in this game. But this is a power hitting team, especially in the top of the order. So he's really showing his confidence in his power hitters and giving them the chance to change the game.
Top 10 in the country in runs scored. Top 10 in the country in home runs. Haylie Landry, the freshman at the plate right now, tied for the Sun Belt lead with 15 long balls this year. Grayheim at first with 1 away. 1-2. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes on the 5-hitter Haylie Landry. Driesinga delivers. The ball bounced foul. The freshman continues to battle.
One thing the Cajun offense has to be careful of is Driesinga is a drop ball pitcher. If they try to do too much with the pitches low in the zone, they're going to end up having some pop flies. It's very tough to have a drop ball pitcher and hit the balls out of the park like this team is used to.
She fouls off another, now a 9-pitch at bat with the next one coming. Representing the tying run in the 4th inning here in game 1 of the Super Regional in Ann Arbor. Grayheim at first with 1 gone and another 2-2. She chased it for strike 3. Well, the Women's College World Series returns to Oklahoma City with the action beginning Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN2. For more information on the 2013 Women's College World Series, go to NCAA.com, the official online home for all 89 NCAA championships. So back-to-back Ks now for Sarah Driesinga, now 3 on the afternoon. And Sarah Corbella bats with 2 gone in this 4th. Corbella grounded out her first time. 1 for 8 in the postseason now. Fights it off, strike 1. Driesinga's 0-1. couple of former Player of the Years in the respective states going at it. Driesinger was Miss Softball in Michigan. Corbella was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Louisiana as a junior a couple of years ago. Four-time All-Stater in Lake Charles, Louisiana. Part of this grouping of freshmen 5 through 7 in the order. Here's a 1-2. Well, Brian Smith's been consistent. Strike zone has been higher than it's been low.
And Driesinger has done a great job as a drop ball pitcher adjusting to that. And this pitch right at the knees, but has not been calling that pitch very much today. Makes it even more important for a pitcher like Driesinger, who lives on that drop ball pitch at the knees, to make sure that she is hitting her corners and not leaving anything over the plate, especially when she has to bring it up for it to be called a strike.
1 run allowed in 24 2/3 in this postseason. Grayheim singled to start the frame. She's still at first. And a 2-2. On the inside corner for strike 3. After the single, 3 straight strikeouts. We'll talk with Mike Lotief about how his team can solve Driesinger on the other side of this break. Game 1 in this Ann Arbor Super Regional. Michigan with a pair of first-inning runs leads 2-0. Joined now by Mike Lotief, head coach for Louisiana Lafayette. Coach, Sarah Driesinger holding your team off of the board through a few frames. What do you got to do to solve her?
Well, we're getting some good swings on. Our kids are attacking. We just got to get comfortable in this environment a little bit. Our kids are okay. I think our mindset's going to change a little bit as we get more into it. Got a lot of softball to go. And I just like where we are right now. We put ourselves in a tough position, but we're slowly fighting back, and it's going to be all good.
Coach, in the first inning, Wallace and the team gave up those 2 runs.
Yeah.
What does your team have to do
Well,
to
you got to
keep the bats
forget
at bay?
about it. You know what I mean? It's over. I mean, it was just a little case of jitters, and it's just over. You know, we've been through a lot of adversity this year, been through a lot of struggle this year. You can't do anything about what just happened. What we can control is what's in front of us, and our kids are going to fight. Promise you that. We're going to keep fighting.
Coach, we appreciate the time.
Okay,
Good luck the rest of the way.
All right, thank you.
That's Mike Lotief in his 13th season as head coach. He had served as co-head coach with his wife Stephanie from 2003 through last season, but she stepped down to spend more time with her 2 kids. And then he actually stepped down the day before the season. Technically, wasn't the head coach anymore, was still with the team on a daily basis, was still running practices, and then a couple weeks later took that title back as head coach. And he said that there were people on the outside obviously trying to make more of it than it actually was, and it brought the team closer together, battling through that. 8-9-1 for Michigan in this 4th inning, and Sierra Lawrence takes strike 1 from Jordan Wallace. Who walked her first time up. One of 3 free passes issued by Wallace today. 0-1. Just misses. Wallace brings a 1-1. Grounded to short. Myers with a strong arm, but looked like Hack maybe pulled her foot off of the bag. Got to figure that's the only way she was called safe.
Well, this was a tough play to make for Myers in the hole, but what a great job of transitioning her weight and making the play. The only question here is if Hack pulls her foot off of the base.
Yeah.
That's a close play.
Mike Lotief comes out of the dugout to have a word with Sue Sawyer. That's a couple of bang-bang plays at first base. Remember, the first one we had was Lindsay Doyle leading off the game, and she came around to score. Now the leadoff batter gets out with another bang-bang call at first. The umpire's taught to look at the bag and listen for the pop of the mitt.
Such a close play.
Out.
Yep, looks like they got her out.
Great work by our crew. 9-hitter Amy Knapp takes strike one. Well, you just talked about the adversity they've faced all season, facing a little bit more on the road here in game one. Knapp walked her first time up. 0-1. That bounces one to short. Myers goes to second, one back to first, but late. So they get the force at second, but Knapp beats it out. Uses her speed to avoid the double play, and it's back to the top of the order.
And Knapp hits this ball right at Myers, who makes a great play getting the lead out. But Knapp has some speed, so is able to make it safely and avoid the double play.
So now Lindsay Doyle is 1 for 2 with a single and a run scored in that 2-run first. She bunts it back to the mound. Wallace with a safe play. Up to second goes Knapp with 2 gone. One of 8 Super Regional sites. Oklahoma and Texas A&M were supposed to play last night, but the field unplayable in Norman, so bump back to tonight at 7 o'clock. Oklahoma, the #1 team in the country. 50-4 this season. 2 of the 3 National Player of the Year finalists. And Doyle swats one just foul. Or Nicole Sappingfield, beg your pardon. Strike one.
And this ball just foul. If that's a fair ball, just a few inches, that plate's a run.
Sappingfield 0 for 1 today with a sacrifice bunt and a ground out. 1 for 10 in the postseason. Wallace home of the 1-1. That bounces over Draheim. And up to third goes Knapp.
And for a rise ball pitcher, we've seen a lot of balls in the dirt from Wallace today. And Draheim really struggling behind the plate to keep them in front of her and not let them go behind her or bounce too far away from her. And this one, she gets down on her knees in time, but the ball bounces and just flies off of her and allows the runner to advance.
4th wild pitch of the day. 2-2. Of course, wild pitch is charged to the pitcher, but you figure you get more out of Draheim behind the plate, who is likely going to finish her career with the highest fielding percentage in Louisiana Lafayette history. Again, none of those go against her as wild pitches. But in a game like this, on a stage like this, you'd like to get a little bit more help if you're Wallace. 2-2. Full count.
Well, coming into this game, Draheim had made 1 error and 474 chances this year. So, you know, maybe I am being a little bit tough on her, but it is because she is one of the best catchers to ever come through this program. I mean, those are pitches she's got to keep in front of her.
This inning started with a Lawrence single. Knapp then reached down a fielder's choice. Moved to second and a bunt from Doyle. Moved to third on the wild pitch. And now Sappingfield trying to deliver with 2 gone. 3-2. Bounced to short for Myers. And this inning is over. It's 2-0 Michigan as we go to the 5th in game 1 of this Super Regional. Where the Wolverines are 19-0 this season and lead 2-0 as we move into the 5th inning. That is Stephanie Loteef, who is the wife and former co-head coach with Mike Loteef. Stepped down after last season to spend more time with their 2 children, but is still heavily involved in the program. Makes a lot of the trips. Was leading the cheers in the first row of the Raging Cajun section just below us. As this 5th inning gets started with the bottom third of the Raging Cajuns order. Samantha Walsh leading things off. 0 for 1 with a ground out to second. There's a strike from Driesinga, who struck out the side in the 4th and appears to be getting stronger as the game goes on.
She is. And, well, she started off a little bit shaky with 2 walks in the 1st inning, but since then has just been solid in the circle for the Wolverines, and the Cajuns have been unable to make an adjustment in the batter's box. Only a couple of hits from them so far this game and have not been able to plate any runs.
Two-1 to Walsh. 2-2.
And when the Cajuns have been successful against Driesinga in this game, they're not trying to do too much with their pitches. You can't when you face a drop ball pitcher. The Cajuns have so much power in their lineups, can have the ability to hit so many home runs, but it's hard when a pitcher's throwing balls low in the zone. So they need to focus on hitting the ball where it's pitched, hitting the ball hard on the ground, and finding the holes.
Came in the hands. Walsh able to fight it off. It holds 2 balls and 2 strikes. The redshirt freshman out of Ingleside, Texas, who moved to shortstop when Marissa Myers went down with that ankle injury. Likely the heir apparent at that position next season for the Raging Cajuns. Here's another 2-2. Full count.
See Driesinga mixing in a rise ball, something she does not normally throw too often, but it's good for her to at least give it a look, even if it is a ball in the count. Give Cajuns something a little bit different to look at.
Bouncing ball back up the middle. Lane for the first out of the inning. Walsh still looking for her first hit of this postseason tournament. Driesinga continuing to roll in game 1 of the Super Regional. 25 1/3 as she's given up just 1 run. Great hitter Leandra Molly flying to left her first time. Has that split grip on the bat that we detailed earlier,
which can be especially effective for slappers because it does encourage bat control, which is so important for them in placing the ball. You'll see a lot of slappers soft slap, which means that they just hit the ball a little bit softer to allow themselves some time to run to first base. And that split grip really gives them control of their hands and of the bat to place the balls where they want them.
0-2 quickly on Molly. Sophomore out of Pearland, Texas. Both runs were scored in the first inning. 2-0 Michigan in the 5th and an 0-2. Driesinga out of Hudsonville, Michigan, on the other side of the state, Grand Rapids. Won a pair of state titles there, was All-State 4 times, missed softball as a senior. Came in the hands Things bounce gently back to the circle, and no chance to get the speedy Molly. It's a one-out infield single, third hit of the day for the Raging Cajuns. That brings a tying run to the plate.
And this is that split grip that we've been talking about, and Molly can control her bat, just hits the top of the ball so lightly, and that soft contact hit allows her some time to run down the first baseline and make it safely.
Natalie Fernandez now struck out her first time back in the third. Trying to set things up for the top of the order. Slaps at it, strike one. One of 6 players that started every game for this Cajun squad. 147 starts in her career. And Mike Lotief wants to have a quick word with her.
And this is what makes Molly and Slapper so successful. She is almost outside of the batter's box already when she makes contact with that ball. And as long as she is still in the batter's box, that's okay. And it actually gives her an advantage because the closer, obviously the closer she can get to first base, the easier it is for her to make it there safely.
That is repetition after repetition. Ton of practice to be able to get it that close. Not stepping out of the box. That's a ball. It's 1-1. Just misses. 2 balls and a strike.
And Driesinga wants this call on the outside of the plate at the knees. She kind of looked around like, where did that miss? Asked Sweet to double check what she needed to do to make the adjustment.
Fouled off 2-2. Now they say that she was out of the box this time, and she's out number 2 in this 5th inning.
And this is why it's so important. It's an advantage if you are still in the box, but if you're out of the box, you can be called out, so it's a fine line. And she steps outside of the box in front of home plate and is called out.
And Mike Lotief out there to have a war with Brian Smith.
If you see her back foot steps in front of the home plate, out of the box, that's the call that has been made. She has to stay inside the batter's box until she makes contact. It is a fine line. We saw Mally do something similar in her previous at-bat, but working to her advantage, she was able to stay inside the box. But the Slappers, they have to stay through the box. They can't be too anxious and thinking about running down the first baseline too soon.
Credit to Brian Smith for being right on top of that. 2 gone now, back to the top, and Narissa Myers. She reached both times, once with a walk, once with a single. The player you want up there if you're Louisiana Lafayette, representing the tying run in the top of the 5th. First team All-Sun Belt performer. A different team when she's in the lineup. 37-4, and they've had her 9-9 in the 18 games she missed. Hammers one down the line to left, but it peels foul.
Myers is a style of hitter that can hit to all fields. And that foul ball down the left field line on an outside pitch, but in her previous at bat, we saw her crank an inside pitch in the 3-4 hole. Makes her very deadly at the plate. She's got some power, but really hits mostly for average, and that's what makes her so successful.
1-2. One-two. Just miss.
Driesinger likes to work the inside part of the plate, and that ball just off the mark.
Molly at first with good speed. The count now full on Myers. So Molly will take off for the pitch. The payoff. Fouled it off her foot. We'll do it again.
Myers only has 8 strikeouts so far this season. Just does such a good job of seeing the ball and putting her barrel of her bat on the ball, but also 32 walks. She's as tough out at the plate. We've seen her in a couple of, in her at-bats so far today, she just battles, and she'll foul off pitches until she sees one that she likes. It's a sign of a great hitter.
And a deep at-bat to begin the game that turned into a walk. Right now, the momentum-changing play of this game came in the first inning, and she was thrown out trying to score on a fly out to left. Another 3-2. That's ball 4. And so Louisiana Lafayette, for the first time today, puts the tying run on base. And Brianna Cherry, who has 13 home runs this season, comes to the plate. So 2 on with 2 away here for Cherry. 5th in the Sun Belt in home runs of those 13. Has not always been a power hitter. Mike Lotief, a guy that prides himself on teaching hitting. It says he recruits players with power potential. Doesn't necessarily need to be a girl that's hitting 25 home runs her senior year of high school, but looks for the tools that he can build around. And in the case of Brianna Cherry, his home run numbers have gone up each year. No home runs her first year. 3 as a sophomore, 7 as a junior, 13 here in her senior season, and a perfect example of what Lotief tries to do.
And it is part of that. We see some of the hitters that actually carry that split grip mentality into the game, but some of them just practice it. But that's what he teaches, is strong to contact. That's what he focuses on, and all of his hitters are so quick to get to the ball and so powerful, using their hands to drive through the zone on their path to the ball, and that's what really makes them so successful, and everyone on the team really buys into that mentality.
The 1-0. Healthy cut, strike 1. Cherry 0 for 2 today, is flied out and grounded out. 2 for 10 in the postseason. Driesinger's 1-1 pitch. 2-1. Bit of a breeze in from left, not as stiff as it's been, but it has gusted now and then.
It's blowing a little bit in, which for a home run team like the Cajuns, who have 83 on the year, which ranks in the top 10 nationally, they've got to focus on base hits.
She pops one in the air to right for Nicole Sappingfield, and this inning is over. Louisiana Lafayette puts the tying run on base, but they leave runners at first and second. We go to the bottom of the 5th. World Series returns to Oklahoma City with the action beginning Thursday, May 30th at noon Eastern, live on ESPN2. And for more information on the 2013 Women's College World Series and all 89 NCAA championships, go to ncaa.com. Bill Hutchins' team brought home the title in 2005, became the first school east of the Mississippi to do so. Of course, Bama did it last year, becoming the first SEC team to do it. 3, 4, and 5 for Michigan in this 5th inning. Big Ten Player of the Year, Sierra Romero, who's reached both times. Doubled home run and scored in the first. Was hit by a pitch in the 3rd. Strike 2.
We see Wallace going right at Sierra Romero. First pitch strike. It's not very often that Romero sees some of those good pitches. A lot of pitchers will throw around her, but not Wallace. An opportunity for Romero to see some pitches.
0-2. Off speed, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Michigan used to this weather, temperature about 50 degrees, although it was up into the 80s about a week ago here. 1-2. Now 2-2. Louisiana Lafayette not as used to this weather, though they played in some of it during the early part of the season. Actually, when the two teams got together in Clearwater, it wasn't exactly warm back in February. Goes full on Romero. Wallace home with the payoff. Lifted to right. Back on it is Molly to the track with room for the first out of the inning. The wind maybe knocking it down just enough. The keeper from her 23rd bomb of the year.
And Romero has to be careful. She knows a lot of pitchers throw around her, but Wallace going right at her with the first couple of pitches, and then for the most part stays away from the zone. Almost gets in trouble when she leaves the ball hanging a little bit. Romero hit that one all the way to the warning track.
Caitlyn Blanchard rolls one back to the circle. Couple of quick outs in this 5th inning for Wallace. Against 3 and 4 in the order. That brings up Ashley Lane. Lane has struck out both times today. Had a huge game 1 of the regional against Valparaiso last Friday. Homered twice, knocked in 4, but went hitless in the other 2 games, both against Cal. So started 2 for 2, but 0 for 7 since. Chapter swinging, it's 2-0.
And because so many pitchers do throw around Romero, Blanchard and Ashley Lane see a lot of good pitches. So it's allowed them to really flourish this season and be a couple of really powerful, tough hitters at the plate for the Wolverines.
2-1. Lane and Blanchard both first team All Big Ten. Right behind Romero in the order. Had 6 first team All Big Ten performers in this lineup. 2-1. Jordan Wallace looking for her first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon. The 3-1 to Ashley Lane. 3-2. The payoff. Right down the middle for strike 3. And so Wallace retires the side in order for the first time today, trying to get her offense some momentum. 7th strikeout of the day, but it's 2-0 Michigan, and it's getting late for Louisiana Lafayette. Some action down in the Michigan bullpen as Haylie Wagner starts to loosen up.
And that's more of a precautionary move. Driesinga, as long as she is pitching as she's pitching now, she's not going anywhere. That's more just precautionary, just in case something happens in the next couple of innings and they need to bring in Wagner.
Dreheim attacks the first pitch, floated into short center, and it's an error on Ashley Lane battling the sun. Actually going to give her a hit. It is an error. It is an error on Ashley Lane. The leadoff batter's on.
With the outfield playing so far back, Lane has to go back to get that ball, and with the sun positioned where it is, looks like she could have lost it in the sun, but again, a routine play that has to be made. And even Doyle in center field, I think she could have gotten to that ball, and that's her ball all the way. She's got to call off Lane. That's a tough play for Lane to make, going back on the ball that way.
So the cleanup batter, Maddie Hack, standing in representing the tying run. She's behind 0-2. Looking for her first hit of the postseason. 0 for 12 now with the fly out and the strikeout today. All that could be forgotten if she could tie it with one swing. Drilled the deep right, back onto the sapping field to the wall, and she pulled it back. Up to second goes Dreheim, but Maddie Hack gets robbed of a home run. It's a single to the wall.
Well, and Hack got all of this pitch. It's over the fence and sapping field. Almost catches it. She probably wishes that she did catch it, but the fact that she was able to save it and bring it back into the park is huge. Save them the lead.
Shelly Landry bounces one to short. Romero with a nice play to get the force out. A hard slide from Dreheim draws reaction from the crowd. Romero working into the hole for the first out of the inning. So fielder's choice 6-5 has Landry at first with Hack up to second. And Sarah Corbello to the plate representing the go-ahead run for the Raging Cajuns. Driesinga's pitch. Hit in the air to center. Doyle's there to make the play. Tagging and heading for third is Hack. And up to second goes Landry. So the tying run is into scoring position now. So Walsh is 0 for 2 today and hitting just 171 with runners in scoring position. Can tie it with a base hit. Strike one. One pitch on the inside corner, strike two.
And this is where you see Driesinga taking control of the game. Sign of a great pitcher. She's so mentally tough, no emotion on her face in this big situation, and then getting ahead with 2 strikes is really going to allow her to throw some of her junk and see if she can't get Walsh swinging at something out of the zone.
Driesinga trying to get out of this jam with a tying run in scoring position. And 2 gone in the 6th. 0-2 to Walsh. Ball 1. Carol Hutchins not happy.
Crowd wasn't very happy about that one either. Driesinga doing a great job of picking at the corners of the plate.
2-2 now. Hack the runner at third, Landry at second with decent speed. Two. Reaches out and flips it to first, but Blanchard with a diving play to retire the side. Well, the bats woke up for the Ragin' Cajuns, but the defense from Michigan, the difference in this 6th inning. Maddie Hack drove onto the wall, but Nicole Sappingfield pulled it back. And then Blanchard with a sprawling stop to save at least 1 run. 2-0 Wolverines to the bottom of the 6th. Field in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Wolverines are trying to get to 20-0 on this field this year. A pair of first-inning runs and some incredible defense. The difference right now for the number 8 seed in this tournament. Well, back in that first inning, they jumped on the board with the middle part of their order. Romero had an RBI double. Caitlyn Blanchard had an RBI single. Michigan Wolverines trying to get back to the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2009. Oklahoma, Texas A&M were supposed to begin that series last night, but the field in Norman unplayable, so they moved game 1 back to 7 o'clock tonight. Lauren Sweet, the 6-hitter, starts things off for Michigan. 0 for 1 today, popped out in the first inning, walked in the 3rd. A player that has turned her season around after a nightmarish start. She began 3 for 42. Pops this one off with a handle to short for Myers to make the play. She began the year 3 for 42. She's hit 375 since then. Was named first team All Big Ten. She's the first out of this 6th for Jordan Wallace. We'll have a pinch hitter here. It's Jacqueline Crummy that will come into bat. Senior team captain out of Macomb, Michigan. And this is in Driesinga's spot, but she can enter back into the game. Continue to pitch.
And once Crummy is entered in as a pinch hitter, she will be taken out again for Driesinga, and she will not be able to re-enter the game.
So a starter can re-enter, but a playoff with the bench can't.
Right. So we will see Driesinga back in the circle for Michigan next inning.
Crummy's been great all season in these situations. 5 for 11 as a pinch hitter. As that one sails overhead, 1 ball, 1 strike. Mainly a pinch runner throughout her career. Had just 4 ABs entering the season. Playing a pivotal role for this Michigan squad this year. Wallace home with a 1-1. But it's bunted in the air, foul, strike 2.
Crummy gives the defense and Wallace a little bit of a different look. Driesinga more of a power contact hitter, and Crummy can do a lot of different things from the left side and put pressure on the defense. This is Coach Hutchins just trying to find a way to put runners on base.
How about that one dropping off at the table for strike 3? 8th punch out of the day for Wallace, and 2 gone in the 6th inning.
And other than the first inning where Wallace, with some help from her defense, allowed 2 runs to score, she really has buckled in and been so strong in the circle for the Cajuns. And for a rise ball pitcher, we've also seen a lot of pitches in the zone. She's getting ahead. She's using some of her other stuff, her curveball and her drop, and some off-speed pitches to keep the hitters off balance.
Myers near the bag with a throw that bounces, and the speed of Lawrence made it a tough play. She'll reach to keep this inning alive.
And Myers, with some good range, is able to get to the ball up the middle, but throws the ball on the run. And Lawrence has some speed, but Myers should plant her feet in that situation and make the throw. It gives her a better shot of hit and hack on the money. Might have taken a little bit longer, but Lawrence wasn't too far up the baseline. She still would have had a shot at getting out.
Kelsey Susana will pinch hit now for Amy Knapp. So Susana, freshman out of Garden City, Michigan, hitting .333 this year. We'll try to keep the line moving and get it back to the top of the order as Michigan goes gunning for insurance at the bottom of the 6th.
If it gives you a little bit of perspective on the kind of depth that Michigan has offensively. Susala, I mean, she's hitting over 300 and mostly as a pinch hitter, and it's so hard to come off the bench and get it done. She also has 5 home runs, so Susala has just been solid in that role for Michigan all year long.
Yeah, she's only started 9 games. And as a pinch hitter, that average even better. 2 home runs in her 19 ABs, hitting near 500. 1-2. Michigan in front 2-0. Both runs coming in the first inning of this game 1. 1-2 pitch. Dropped off the table for strike 3. The Louisiana Lafayette down to its final chance. The Sun Belt's top hitter, Narissa Myers, due up 3rd in the 7th. Couple of first inning runs for the Wolverines. The difference right now in game 1 of this Super Regional. Michigan on the doorstep of putting itself 1 win away from a trip to Oklahoma City. 8-9-1 for Louisiana Lafayette, due up in this frame against Sarah Driesinga, is trying to go the distance for the 4th time in 4 games in this tournament. Andra Molly will lead things off. 1 for 2 today with an infield single. 27 innings for Driesinga, just 1 run allowed in the NCAA tournament. Louisiana Lafayette's offense continues to struggle to get it going. Now 4 games, they've had just 15 hits total. 1-0, strike 1.
The Cajuns with an opportunity here with the speed in the bottom of their lineup to put some runners on base. But the key for Molly is to make that soft contact.
Lined is short for the first out of the frame. Romero positioned perfectly, 1 gone in the 7th. Mike Lotief came out for another word with Brian Smith. They've gotten to know each other pretty well this afternoon. Been out there several times. The 9-hitter Natalie Fernandez would love the reach and make Narissa Myers represent the tying run. Line to center for Doyle. Once again, the defensive positioning perfect for the Wolverines. They're 1 out away from a game 1 win.
You can see the defense is way in to face the Cajun slappers. And it pays off for Doyle, who, if she had been positioned normally, like she was facing one of their contact or power hitters, she would have been in trouble. That ball might have fallen in.
Marissa Myers, top hitter in the Sun Belt, trying to keep things moving. A single and 2 walks today. Strike one.
Myers has really made Driesinga work for it today, has seen a lot of pitches gone deep in the counts of her at-bats, and it's really paid off for her, whether it's been getting the hit in the 3-4 hole or seeing so many pitches and fouling them off until Driesinga made a mistake and put her on base.
Oh, 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. If Myers can reach, Brianna Cherry, who's got 13 home runs this year, would bat. One pitch. Strike 2. One, 2. Swatted to left, and Louisiana Lafayette's got a chance with a 2-out single from Marissa Myers. Her second hit of the day. She's reached all 4 times, and it's up to Brianna Cherry.
And this is just a good piece of hitting from Myers. That ball on the outside part of the plate, even off of the plate a little bit and down in the zone, but she just throws her hands towards the pitch and finds the hole in left field. Just a great piece of hitting. That's what makes her such a tough out.
Cherry's 0 for 3 today. Flied out to the warning track in the first inning. Could tie it with 1 swing.
This is where Driesinga really has to be mentally tough in the circle. She cannot make a mistake. A mistake against a hitter like Cherry could cost them the lead and this game.
Drilled to deep right center. We are tied. Down to their final out, the Cousins from Petal, Mississippi, with back-to-back hits, and Brianna Cherry homering to tie the game at 2.
And this is what this team does so well. They have so much power, and Driesinga leaves that pitch up in the zone over the plate, and Cherry leaves no doubt that ball hit on a line deep into the outfield.
Her 14th home run of the season.
That's what we're talking about. Driesinga has to be mentally tough. She cannot afford to miss her spots, leave the ball up in the zone like that, because these Louisiana Lafayette hitters, they have too much power. Their swings are too powerful. They will make her pay for those mistakes.
Ball and a strike on Sarah Draheim. 2-1. 1 for 2 today. A single and a walk. 15 home runs for her this year. That leads the Sun Belt. A team in the top 10 of the country in long balls. Uses one to tie the game. 2-1. Strike 2. Bullpen active again with Wagner. 2-2. 3-2. The payoff. Strike 3. Driesinga was 1 out away from giving Michigan a Game 1 win. Myers singles, and then Siri launches a 2-run homer. And it's 2-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Brianna Cherry, who didn't hit a homer as a freshman, hits her 14th as a senior to tie the game at 2 with Louisiana Lafayette down to its final out. And we go to the bottom of the 7th in Game 1 of the Super Regional in Ann Arbor. Later tonight, you've got Oklahoma and Texas A&M going at it. Texas and Florida State down in Austin. And Arizona State and Kentucky get started out in the desert Saturday night, 10 Eastern. ESPN, the home of the road to the Women's College World Series. Every game from here on out we broadcasted on the ESPN networks. So now how does Michigan respond? Top of the order coming up for Carol Hutchins' squad. Doyle, Sappingfield, and Romero.
Well, this is exactly where they want to be at the top of their lineup. And they're the home team. If they can score a run in this at-bat, that ends the game. But they have to take it 1 pitch at a time, can't try to do too much. And for the Cajuns, Wallace just has to continue doing what she's doing. I mean, she has stumped the Wolverine lineup since the first inning.
Grounded to third for Fernandez, and 1 pitch, 1 out for Wallace. Now both Michigan runs came back in the first. 3 of their 4 hits came in that first inning. The only other hit was an infield single in the 4th. So Doyle retired 5-3. Now Nicole Sappingfield, who's 0 for 2 today. And Sappingfield had a defensive play in the 6th inning that saved the game from becoming tied right then. She robbed a home run, pulling the ball back from over the wall and right. Or else that Cherry home run would have done more than just tie the game for the Raging Cajuns.
There was no pulling that Cherry home run back into the park. That one was way out. But such a good job for Sappingfield. I mean, ideally she catches that ball, but just the fact that she brought it back into the park, that thing's going over without her.
0-2. Comes up and in, 1 ball and 2 strikes. After Sappingfield will be the Big Ten Player of the Year, Sierra Romero, who has a Michigan record 22 home runs this year. One, two. Another 1-2 from Wallace. Evens at 2-2 now. Over 100 pitches for the game. He's given up just 2 runs in 27 innings in this postseason tournament. 2-2. Sappingfield does well to fight it off.
Against a rise ball pitcher, a slapper like Sappingfield, who wants to put the ball on the ground and allow herself to run the bases, she really has to think about getting on top of Wallace's pitches.
Here's another 2-2. And she fouls another off. Heck of an at-bat for Nicole Sappingfield. Junior out of California. With the 9th pitch of the at-bat due here. Does not have a home run this season, but hitting above 300.
She's certainly getting her money's worth up there, seeing a lot of pitches, trying to see if Wallace will throw her something good in the zone.
And she's worked it full. Two for Michigan in the first. Louisiana Lafayette tying the game down to its final out in the top of this inning. Now 3-2. And another foul ball. Michigan trying to head to Oklahoma City for the 10th time in the last 18 years. It'd be a first trip since 2009. Louisiana Lafayette has been there 5 times, last in 2008. Game 1 of this best-of-3 series to decide who punches the ticket. Just misses for ball 4, but they check down to third, and Terry Holt punches her out. I'm not sure Sampingfield can argue too much because the pitch looked pretty good to begin with.
It was, and Wallace does a great job of coming into the zone but keeping it out of the reach of Sappingfield. And her bat does cross the plane of the plate, so she did swing. A good call by the umpire staff.
And now Romero, who's 1 for 2 today with an RBI double. Her 22 home runs, the most in a single season in Michigan history. 0-1. Well, she was trying for number 23 in a win in game 1. Strike 2.
Coach Hutchins told us that Sierra Romero's worst enemy is herself, and she really gets in trouble when she tries to do too much. So she really has to stay within herself here, trust herself, and get a good pitch to hit.
Fouls this one off, and it's still 0-2. And 45 home runs during her All-American career at Marietta High School in California. Committed to Michigan as a sophomore and has had a monster freshman year. 0-2. Ball 1.
Wallace also has to be careful in this situation. She's ahead. She's got 2 strikes on Romero. She can afford to throw some pitches off the plate. She cannot leave anything up in the zone, over the plate, or Romero can really be dangerous.
1-2. Bouncing ball to third. And a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th. Thrown by Jordan Wallace to respond to the game-tying 2-run frame in the top half of this inning. On to extras in Ann Arbor. Brianna Cherry, the reason that we're going into extras. 2-2 game in game 1 of this Super Regional. It all got started in that top of the 7th with 2 gone. Narissa Myers on a 2-strike pitch, single to left, and then her cousin Cherry followed her with an opposite field blast, tying the game at 2. And bringing us into this 8th inning with Garland Cooper, Joe Davis here at Alumni Field, where Michigan has not lost in 19 games this year. Sarah Driesinga battling against the middle third of this Louisiana Lafayette order. The 8th inning. Hack 1 for 3 today with a single. And single her first hit, 13 ABs in the NCAA tournament. 0-1. Hammered in the air to left, and a no-doubt shot puts the Cajuns in front.
Number 13.
When we talked to Coach Lateef in the 4th inning, he said, this team will fight. I'll tell you that. And they certainly have. With their backs against the wall, they're doing what they do best, and that is showcase their power, and nothing but power coming from Maddie Hack in that swing. Just so strong, solid all the way through. The outfielders just kind of stopped running back. It was way over the fence.
13th of the season for the transfer from Arizona, who's playing in her 4th Super Regional today. Played in a pair at Arizona, was more of a role player, but had a huge home run as a freshman, a pinch hit homer to win a game in the postseason in her freshman year at Arizona. And she's got the go-ahead solo shot game 1 of this Super Regional. Shelly Landry takes ball 2. Landry 0 for 3 today. 2-0. That ball's pounded to left. Back is Lawrence. And the wind knocks it down for the first out of the inning.
That ball is a little bit too close for comfort. Driesinga has kept these hitters off balance all game, and now it's starting to catch up to her. They've been through the lineup 3 times. They're already on their 4th at bat. So they're starting to figure it out a little bit, and Driesinga is making some mistakes, and the Cajuns are making her pay for it.
That's the 2nd time they've seen her this year. You go back to February 22nd, she went the distance, so they've now seen her for 15 innings. She gave up just 1 unearned run on 4 hits in that first matchup. As Wagner warms again, she's pitching a full game out there and just warm-up pitches today. 1 away for Sarah Corbello. Six of the 7 hits today for Louisiana Lafayette have come from the 4 seniors at the top of the lineup. Bottom 5 in the order. They'll combine 1 for 16. Driesinga's 1-1. Swatted to left, a base hit. And the hitters having their way with Driesinga now.
We are seeing a little bit of a different pitcher out there. Driesinga leaving some pitches up over the plate and up in the zone, which is exactly what she does not want to do, especially being a drop ball pitcher. And then the Cajuns are all over her. I mean, she cannot make a mistake because the Cajuns will hit it.
Megan Thomas is on the pinch run for Louisiana Lafayette. Corbello can re-enter. Driesinga was 1 out away, 1 strike away from this game being finished with a 2-0 shutout win. Samantha Walsh takes one in the dirt. Fresh off of the bench, Thomas will motor into second. She's charged a wild pitch to Driesinga. She had 2 strikes on Marissa Myers with 2 gone and the bases empty. 2-0 lead at the top of the 7th. Myers singled to left. And then Brianna Cherry followed with a 2-run homer to send it to extras. Here's a bouncing ball, base hit into left field. They'll hold Thomas at third on a single from Walsh. The 3rd hit of the inning for the Cajuns.
The Cajuns are really starting to get some good swings on the ball, and Driesinga has to find a way to reinvent herself in this game. She's got to work in some more of her pitches, use some of her other stuff to keep them off balance.
Wagner comes running in from the bullpen. And will enter this game for Driesinga, who is so close to being so good once again. A 2-run shot from Cherry ties the game of the 7th. And a solo shot from Maddie Hack. A skyscraping blast gives Louisiana Lafayette its first lead of this Super Regional. 3-2 in the 8th. Three straight runs for Louisiana Lafayette to chase Sarah Driesinga from the game, and Haylie Wagner, sophomore from Orange, California, checks into the game.
What we're going to see from Wagner today, she's a lefty, so her curveball is her strongest pitch. She throws a backdoor curve, which means it's going to start off of the plate and curve in for a strike, as well as a regular curveball that starts over the plate and curves off of the plate away from the hitter.
So Sarah Driesinga's day's finished in the circle, you would assume. Will still hit for herself. 7 1/3. Here's a 1-0. Well, how big would it be for Louisiana Lafayette to add some insurance? We've got Corbello getting pinch run for by Megan Thomas at third, Walsh at first. Andra Molly is 1 for 3 today, trying to provide that insurance.
Well, if there's one thing we know about the Wolverines, it's that they have incredible offense. So the Cajuns cannot leave anything to chance. They need some runs to cushion their lead right now.
In the middle third of the Wolverines order due up in the bottom of the 8th. 2-1. Strike 2. Here's a 2-2. She got a piece of it to stay alive. Wagner, a .258 earned run average. She's made 20 starts this year, is 18-3. And inherits his runners at the corners jam with 1 gone in the 8th. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 with an off speed.
Wagner's go-to pitch is her curveball, but this changeup is so deadly, especially for a slapper who's already running through the box. She was not expecting the slow stuff, was looking for something hard. Got ahead of herself a little bit there, and that's one of the things Wagner does so well. She'll go to that curveball, throw it hard over the plate, and then mix it up with a change of speed. It really keeps the hitters off balance.
Natalie Fernandez is 1 for 9 in the postseason and hitting just .146 with runners in scoring position. A base hit would give the Cajuns some cushion going into the bottom of the 8th. 0-1. Just misses. Runner takes off, and they'll let her take second with a runner at third. So Walsh into second base with Thomas at third and 2 outs.
And the reason they allow the runner to advance in this situation is they just don't want to throw anything down and give the runner at third a chance to score.
Popped up. Room for Knapp. Michigan will have the middle third of the order coming up in the bottom of the 8th. They'll need a run to keep this one alive, or they'll lose their first game at home this season, fall down a game in the series. Michigan scored 2 in the first, 1 strike away from finishing off a 2-0 win, but a single kept it alive. 2-run homer tied it, and a solo shot in the top of this inning from cleanup batter Maddie Hack has Louisiana Lafayette in front for the first time in game 1 of this best of 3, with a winner moving to Oklahoma City for the Women's College World Series. Michigan with the middle third of the order coming up. Blanchard, Lane, and Sweet, all with decent home run power. against Jordan Wallace, who gave up those 2 runs in the first, but since then has allowed just 1 base hit.
And the Cajuns have to come into this inning very focused. We saw what can happen when a team loses focus, and Driesinga made 1 mistake in the 7th that cost them their lead and could potentially cost them this game. So the Cajuns cannot take this offense for granted. 1 through 9, this Michigan offense is so strong. They rank in the top 10 in batting average, as well as runs scored per game. So they have to buckle in and finish this game strong.
Michigan 19-0 at Alumni Field this year. Caitlyn Blanchard, 1 for 3 with an RBI double. Gets hit by the first pitch. And the tying run is on base to begin this 8th inning.
And this is a big mistake by Wallace. She does not want to put the first runner, the first hitter of the inning on base, especially this late in the game.
All right, so now the Brandy Virgil will pinch run. You've got your 5-hitter Lane, who's homered 17 times at the plate, but has struck out 3 times today. Do you consider a sacrifice to move the tying run into scoring position?
No, I think you let Lane hit. She has so much power. She's another one of those hitters that can change the game with 1 swing. 17 home runs on the season. We talk a lot about Romero, who has 22, but Lane, so powerful in her own right with 17 home runs so far this year. I'd let her swing away.
She does and pops it up. Does Hack have room? It pops out of her glove, and it's only strike 1.
And that ball in foul territory has to be caught, especially with one of Michigan's deadliest hitters up to bat. Hack loses the ball, cannot bring it down. She's got to sprint underneath the ball, get underneath it and catch it, but that could come back and be a big mistake for the Cajuns.
And that one gets by, moving the tying run into scoring position. That's a pass ball on Sarah Draheim, who's been so good this season behind the dish.
And this is just so uncharacteristic of Draheim behind the plate. She has to get down on her knees and block that ball, at least keep it in front of her and keep the runner from advancing.
Lane hammers one deep to left, and Michigan wins.
Left well over the plate from Wallace. Lane, such good extension through the ball, launches it over the left field fence. And Maddie Hack at first base has to be kicking herself for making the mistake of not catching the pop fly in foul territory and letting Lane continue in her at bat.
What a game. Ashley Lane is our Capital One Player of the Game with her 18th home run of the season. Her 3rd hit of the postseason is her 3rd home run of the postseason. Michigan led 2-0 with 2 outs in the 7th before Louisiana Lafayette tied it with a homer and took the lead with a solo shot in the top of this inning. But then a 2-run shot from Lane wins game 1 for the Wolverines, and Jordan Wallace and the Raging Cajuns will be on the brink of defeat tomorrow. Michigan 1 win away from Oklahoma City. Coming up next, Sports Center U for Garland Cooper and the rest of our crew. My name's Joe Davis saying so long from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's head back to the studio.